I want to show you guys how to turn this simple white noise into a cinematic whoosh. I'm going to be using Faceplant for this, but you can use any other synth that has white noise and some effects. So for the generator, I'm going to go ahead and grab a noise generator. I'm going to add a new group, and then I'm going to add a distortion, a shaper, and a compressor. Then I'm also going to rename the group distortion. I also have some MIDI laid out because we're going to be doing some automation inside of Faceplant with macro 1. Coming back inside of our distortion group, our first distortion, we're going to turn up the drive all the way and the mix all the way. And then we're going to automate the mix with macro 1. We're going to come to the plus, automate it all the way down, so -100. And then for a shaper distortion, we're going to leave the drive the way it is, and we're going to leave the mix as is. Make a shape that kind of looks like this inside of the shaper. Then for our compressor, I'm just going to right click and hit -12, and then I'm going to turn up the release a little bit. Add a new group and rename it filters, then add 2 filter snap-ins. Okay, so for the first filter, I'm going to want to turn the cutoff all the way down, right click on the cue and hit 3. Then I'm going to automate the filter cutoff all the way to 100%, and so it'll make this kind of movement. Then for the second filter, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to have it set as a high pass. So turn down the cutoff, right click cue and hit 3, and automate it to 100%. Then it'll sound like this. Now that we got everything set up in Faceplant, we're going to go ahead and automate inside Ableton. Hit configure, and then click on macro 1. Try to make your automation look like this with a little bit of a tail at the end. For post-processing, I also added a saturator and a reverb that we're going to be automating. For a saturator, I'm going to click on drive and hit 12, then I'm going to right click and show automation on the dry wet and automate this. So our saturator automation should look something like this, with our dry wet automation at 34% on this tail end part of the MIDI. I'm just going to come inside of our Faceplant and turn up the gain output a little bit. Then for our reverb audio effect, I'm going to go ahead and turn up the decay. Come over here to the input filter, turn down the Q, and turn down the frequency all the way down, and then I'm going to automate the dry wet. So our dry wet automation should look something like this, with a reverb going up to 50%. And that is our final result, making a cinematic whoosh with white noise.